Hi, my name is Dave Ray, and welcome to Splash of Beauty Volume 1 Cut and Color Educational Video Series. I am here with some of my signature work which I'm known for on my beautiful models. They range from artistic combing to asymmetrical bobs. So stay tuned for some great education. Here we have sectioned our layered bob, very layered look. She's sectioned into 6 sections. At the lower nape area, we have an inverted V, which is where we'll start our haircut. First thing is combing the hair so it's evenly distributed on the head form. Comb hair in its natural fall. And now we're going to create our guideline, which will be our stationary guide and will be the base of our cut. So as I hold the hair with 1 finger elevation or 15-degree angle, I'm cutting straight across horizontally, parallel to the floor. This is creating a weight line which will establish the outer perimeter of my haircut. Always start cutting the hair in the center of your part and moving outward. Now I've completed the back sections. I'm moving to the frontal sections, taking out the right side front section, and I'm parting. If you notice, my part is a diagonal part moving forward. And what I will be doing is marrying my guideline with the previously established guide, which is in the back. Notice that the client or the model has slightly thin frontal area, so we will try to give the illusion of more fullness as we move forward. Making my parts parallel to my previous part and using my outer perimeter as my guide. You can notice that the client's hair already starts to look a lot healthier just from the incision being made. Haircuts are considered a form of treatments as well. Treatments are not always conditioner in a bottle. Treatments can also be, hair cutting technique. If you notice, I'm taking 2 parts. One, I'm making sure that I separate the frontal hair and just cutting off the split ends, at the same time creating a shape. So I'm cutting at an angle from high point of the eye to the bridge of the nose, creating the illusion of asymmetry, forward motion. So she'll have a bang that is, or fringe that has been asymmetrically cut from short to long, and if worn on the other side, it'll be from long to short. Just doing some simple blending. You can see if she were to comb it on either side, she'll have more drama depending on what she chooses to, how she chooses to wear it. Now, making that top portion my stationary guide, then I'm bringing the hair from the back, marrying it with the top, over directing that hair, and blending it with the top established guide. If you notice, my parts are pie shape, moving around the head form in a clockwise fashion and blending with the top, over directing as much as possible not to affect my outer perimeter length, maintaining length in the outer perimeter and blending it with the top. So creating successive layering, if you may. Now I go to the other side and I cut counterclockwise, making also pie-shaped parts. And the hair that is too short to be cut will just be released. Always remember, the further away from the hair's natural form is, the more hair weight that you're creating, more length you're creating. So in other words, the further away from its point of origin, the more hair you will remain on the head form. Notice how I over direct this hair. Now lift it up. The hair at the inside of my hand will be longer than the hair at the fingertips, because I'm pulling that hair further away from its point of origin. So now moving counterclockwise, I went from 5 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And just blending whatever hair that's excessive. And I'm sure you can see the length is still present. And now we're just blending, making sure the layering technique is fully distributed. And by the way, we have a gorgeous model. You can start seeing the shape of the haircut come into play. Hair can be romantic if you allow it to. While I'm cutting this hair, I'm making love to this hair, and the hair is actually loving me because I'm seeing the results. I'm seeing the hair smile. Let's have some fun here. If you notice, when I did that frontal section, I combed that hair and cut that hair. As I cut that hair, my fingers was moving forward. Look at my wrist as I cut this section. Maybe I should go around and hold this hair. Notice how I hold the hair and I'm cutting and my wrist is moving around, so I'm still leaving length and it's still blended. I want you to notice that. I did the same thing on the opposite side. You can see the shape of the haircut coming into play, and the hair looks much healthier. Her hair is colored previously with a cinnamon brown, just broke the base. And so we're just now enhancing it with a haircut. Evenly distribute the hair so you can see the cut in its entirety. Now we are sectioning for our curling technique. We are using the ceramic irons by Izunami. So now I'm taking my first section for curling. And if you notice, I'm curling the same way I cut. I started to cut in the back at the nape area, and that's the same way I'm curling. Just bending the ends to create some softness at the outer perimeter. So as I move up the head form, I'm sectioning the hair using diagonal parts, V shape, because when you use diagonal parts you create more movement. That is something you must remember when you're cutting or curling. Diagonal parts create movement. Gives it a lot more softness to the head form, to the hairstyle. Diagonal parts, that's the job of diagonal parts, creating movement. And this curling pattern is continued until we reach the crown in the back area. So now I'm approaching the top of the head form in the back, and as you can see, the hair is curled, and you can actually see the actual layering technique that was used, because the curls are sitting on top of each other, and you can see the progression of the curl pattern. Look at the movement on this hair. She does not know how fabulous she looks yet, but she will find out. And I know she will definitely like it. See, I'm just using my hands to just sort of shuffle the curls in the back, giving it more volume, creating more definition and more drama. At the same time, still keeping her sophisticated. And no, it's not a weave. It's all her hair. So now I'm approaching the top of the head form in the back, and as you can see, the hair is curled, and you can actually see the actual layering technique that was used, because the curls are sitting on top of each other, and you can see the progression of the curl pattern. I move to the front, and I'm parting the hair the same way I cut the hair. Apart in the forward motion, and because of our hairline being slightly thin, we wanted to take wider parts, so we give the illusion of more volume, a lot more hair. It's all in the styling technique. Defining the front, curling it in its asymmetrical shape. And this curl pattern is used to complete the other side. You can see the shape, and it's not even combed. Sitting pretty on her head form. Successive layered look, long layers, mid-length haircut, bouncy on beautiful Nikki. With an asymmetrical bang. Now I'm combing it with a wide tooth comb, keeping it soft. If you notice, not much hairspray was used, so it keeps her hair nice and soft and bouncy. See, I'm just using my hands to just sort of shuffle the curls in the back, giving it more volume, creating more definition and more drama. Can't wait for you to see the finished product. Let me see what you turn. Okay, see, as I turn her totally, you can see the whole layered cut. We're gonna call this cut the Nikki cut. Full, voluminous, shiny, bodified, layered, and still long. So we maintain her length giving her illusion of more fullness, more body, more volume. And when she shakes it, it still has movement. Look at that. Gorgeous. The curls are shaking and the hair is still staying in place. My parting starts from the crown of the head form all the way to the point of recession, creating a diagonal part. So as I place my color on the foil, I make sure that the color product is evenly distributed on the foil. The foil is then closed, and the tip of the brush is used for spreading the product, making sure it is totally covered. Now I take another section, leaving sections in between each foil, creating a pie shape or windmill effect as I go around the head form. Now I'm down to my last windmill foil, closing, smoothing for even distribution of color inside the foil. So I close it in a triangular shape, and that allows for the foils to be evenly distributed and dispersed around the head form. You will notice as I'm placing the foils secure to the head, you'll notice that it's going in a windmill fashion. Notice the foil is going in a clockwise fashion, moving around the head form, and I'm sure you can get the idea of the windmill formation or placement of foil. Now, just for special effect, last minute I've decided to add an extra sheet of foil right over her right eye to give more dimension to the color in the front. Now I'm checking my first foil to see if the desired color has been reached, and my last foil in the top to see what level of color. I am pleased, so I'm willing to wait for a couple of minutes for the whole process to be completed. And as you can see in the front, there is this one piece of foil that creates drama and definition. This completes our color technique. Just waiting for processing. Here we have sectioned our layered bob, very layered look. She's sectioned into 6 sections. The front with the frontal area sectioned off from crown to forehead, and the 2 sides sectioned off. And if you notice, the parts are also diagonal in the front. In the back, we have 2 subsections in the crown to the occipital. The crown, we have 2 sections in the crown, or from the crown to the sub-occipital, with the Mohegan part in the center. And at the lower nape area, we have an inverted V, which is where we'll start our haircut. First thing is combing the hair so it's evenly distributed on the head form. Comb hair in its natural fall, and now we're going to create our guideline, which will be our stationary guide and will be the base of our cut. So as I hold the hair, with 1 finger elevation or 15-degree angle. I'm cutting straight across horizontally, parallel to the floor. This is creating a weight line which will establish the outer perimeter of my haircut. Always start cutting the hair in the center of your part and moving outward. Then I'm taking my shears and just making sure that I'm blending, making sure I have a nice even line, very parallel, her head bending forward between her breastbone, straight. Make sure that the client's legs are not crossed, because it does create an uneven distribution of hair based on the fact that one hip would be higher than the other. Now I'm going into one of my back sections and marrying it with the first cut sections at the nape, and then I'm holding the hair at a 45-degree angle and cutting vertically, blending it with the previously cut hair. So I'm taking smaller sections and I'm cutting and I'm parting centrifugally from inward to outward. Centrifugally means from in to out. Centripetally means from out to in. So now I'm blending. So I make my parts parallel to each part, making, if you notice, diagonal parts, because I'm trying to create more movement. That is my intention. And as I comb the hair 45-degree angle, I'm blending it, cutting it vertically, removing bulk and the diagonal parts will create movement or mobility across the head form. Notice how my partings are pretty thin. And you must make your parts based on the texture of hair. If the hair is extremely fine, you may need to make wider parts. If the hair is coarse or thick, you may need to make thinner parts so you can see your guideline at all times. Then I'm going to the other side and continuing the same technique. And on this side, the left side, I want it to be slightly shorter than the opposite side, so thus creating a field of asymmetry. Again, a field of asymmetry. So the haircut will look slightly lopsided, but it's very fashionable. No, it's not a mistake. It's a creation of a look. Notice how I point cut the top on a 45-degree angle, cutting into the hair. You must take your time and do this if you're not good at it. And I'm point cutting the top to create softness, soften the look, so it's not so hard. So I go in and I point cut at an angle, but if you notice when I cut, I pull away from my fingers. So I thus not cutting my fingers, which is holding the hair. So I'm point cutting to soften the look. Like it creates a staggering effect inside the haircut, so it softens the look. Now I'm point cutting the back just to blend it, and so you don't have a strong line of demarcation. So that is point cutting the entire back. It may not seem like I'm cutting any hair, but when I comb it, the hair is falling out. So it just softens the look. And one of the things that point cutting does, it also allows for the curls to last longer. When you point cut the hair, the curls remain because every short hair is going to push along here. Short hair pushes long hair, thus allowing the curl to stay bent or bumped. To round the head form, after doing the whole haircut, you just want to go and do some point cutting technique. Just freehand it with your shears and soften the look. It will, when you curl it, it will hold the curls a lot longer. Okay?